What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sinister-Cast, a podcast where I talk about music, my channel, and things that are going on in my life. So if you're new, consider subscribing. Anyway, in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the more influential guitar players that have influenced my playing and my musical tastes. So to just jump right into it, when I was first learning guitar, I was a huge Megadeth fan. I mean, I still am, but I was like obsessed with them back then. So Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, not any of the solo guitar players, main solo guitar players, because Dave does solo stuff too, but some of the more interchangeable people like Menza and Chris Broderick and Marty Friedman. Dave Mustaine was really influential for me because, one, I really liked Megadeth. They were great. They still are great. And his playing style was so different. It was his rhythm creations were just, they blew my mind. I mean, he had a very different take on music, and just the way that he handled the guitar was really inspirational. And it was just super chunky, rhythmic stuff where you go, damn, that's a good guitar riff. And he influenced my playing for a long time. He has a very odd style. I kind of think of it this way. You have more technical players like John Petrucci of Dream Theater, and I'll get to him later. But guys like Dave Mustaine, I think of them as like the more street type guitar players, because it's not necessarily all technical, but he's really skilled in what he's like created himself. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, just, let me know. But yeah, Dave Mustaine was a huge influence on my guitar playing. I tried to write a lot of riffs in the style of him, in the style of like Megadeth and stuff like that. And Megadeth as a whole just had a huge impact on my musical taste and my musical playing and stuff like that. And I'll jump into it like I was mentioning a few seconds ago. Another influential guitar player is John Petrucci of Dream Theater. As of right now, he's still one of my biggest influences and biggest inspirations. Like I've talked about in previous Sinister-Casts, I kind of grew from being a huge thrash metal, Bay Area thrash metal, just that's my main focus, to where I broadened out and started getting into the more complicated, more complex stuff, Dream Theater, Racer X, stuff like that. And John Petrucci, man, he is insanely good and he is insanely technical. But at the same time, he doesn't sacrifice emotion for technicality either, which is amazing. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He can play pretty much anything that he wants, and it's going to sound good. I mean, I've talked about before, Dream Theater is such a huge influence on me as well. The progressiveness, it's like that progressive metal, like pioneering, kick some ass type stuff. And they're just really influential. Hold on one sec. And resume, I got a phone call. But yeah, John Petrucci and Dream Theater, huge influence on my playing. I mean, insanely good, insanely technical, just crazy good. Dream Theater had a huge impact on me. So many ways. I still jam out to them all the time. I try to write riffs in the style of them. I showed my drummer the video I just did where I played some metal guitar with a quarter for a pick, which you can go check out right over here. And he was telling me how he can sense the John Petrucci style in the little piece that I wrote for it. So I can't even begin to describe how influential John Petrucci has been on my guitar playing. It's just, he's insanely good. Yeah, another one would be Yngwie Malmsteen. I think everybody looks up to Yngwie Malmsteen when you're a guitar player, because he's got this suave, like, finesse to his guitar playing. Like, he makes it seem like he doesn't have to try to execute some of the crazy shit that he does on guitar. And if you don't know who Yngwie Malmsteen is, dude, look him up. It's not, his first name is like Yngwie. I think it's Yngwie, Yngwie, because he's Swedish. Go check him out. Listen to some of the stuff he's done. It's insane. Highly, highly, highly skilled, really fast shred guitar, speed metal. He's insane. But I used to try to play some of his stuff. I still try to, not as much anymore. But his stuff was just, it blew so many other people out of the water. I mean, he's insanely good. It's just crazy how good he is. And he just, if you see videos of him playing, it just looks like he doesn't even try. He just like, oh, you want me to play this? Okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's insane. 1 second again. Anyway, sorry about that. Phone calls got interrupted twice. This will be a first in Sinister-Cast history. I've never cut in one of these episodes. Usually they're pretty much uncut. But anyway, yeah, I was talking about Yngwie. If you look at Yngwie's playing, he just flawlessly does it. There's no effort he has to put into it whatsoever. And it's just insane to watch. And, oh man, it's just... And he wears all this jewelry on his fingers and stuff, and it just... You think, like, wouldn't that weigh your hand down and inhibit you from playing that fast? But it does nothing to him. He's just... Bam, he blows through everything. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy insane. And the last influential guitar player that I'm going to talk about in this episode, because I got to keep it short again, because if you can't tell, I'm not at my desk like usual. I've had a handful of emergency situations the last couple weeks, which is why my Sinister casts have been in vehicles, because I'm not usually home. But the last influential guitar player, and I somewhat use this loosely because it's more of the band than it is the player, but I think a lot of it has to do with this player, is James Hetfield of Metallica. And I say James because I feel like he's kind of like the Dave Mustaine side. It's the rhythm and the conceptual ideas of the songs and the structures and the way they work is what's influential. Because I could talk about this in another episode, but Kirk Hammett from Metallica, I don't like him as a guitar player. I think he's okay. He does fairly well. He's done some cool things in the past with Metallica, but I just don't think he's a very good guitar player, and I don't think he's grown very much in the 40-odd years that they've been a band. So I don't think he's that influential. But James, I've talked about in some of the lessons I've given you guys, he's got such a strong down pick. It's insane. He's like the father of down picking. And I wish that I could be on his level of down picking. Look up some live videos of them playing, because his down picking is just insanely good. I mean, he's got such a strong and quick wrist. How he got that way, don't ask me. I have no clue. It's probably practice, but who knows? He's just so good. And in the riffs that they write, because I know they collaborate, they're a band, they come up with stuff together, but I feel like James is kind of somewhat of the driving force for the rhythm stuff, and he writes a lot of the chunky, heavy riffs. So, you got Master of Puppets, which is like a masterpiece. You've got Ride the Lightning and For Whom the Bell Tolls, stuff like that. It's just those riffs are so iconic and so good. It's hard not to include him as an influential guitar player because, like I said before, I used to listen to Metallica and Megadeth and Anthrax and Slayer nonstop all the time, played their stuff nonstop all the time, and that's just kind of where it's been. And it wouldn't be fair to not include him. I've kind of had a falling out with Metallica just because I've always liked Megadeth better. I'm not one of those people that thinks Metallica sold out or anything, but they've kind of, and I kind of burned myself out on Metallica a long time ago. I'll still listen to them, but Metallica's here, Megadeth is like way up here for me, and everybody else is way up here. Metallica's just, if it comes on, I'll listen to it. If it comes up on my phone, I'll listen to it, whatever. I can still enjoy it. I just don't seek it out as much anymore. But yeah, Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, John Petrucci of Dream Theater, Yngwie Malmsteen of Yngwie Malmsteen and a couple other bands, and James Hetfield of Metallica. I'll add one more just to make it an even 5. Scott Ian of Anthrax. I was just talking about how how I listen to thrash metal and Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, the big four, all the time, have to include Scott Ian and, well, I guess Kerry King on top of that as well. So now it's at 6. Scott Ian of Anthrax and Kerry King of Slayer. Pioneers of thrash metal, as well as James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine. All 4 of them, crazy, crazy good, right? Crazy riffs. You got Scott Ian with Anthrax doing stuff like Caught in a Mosh. You got It's a Madhouse. You got NFL. You know, I Am the Law, which is about Judge Dredd. Insanely good thrash metal guitar riffs. And then Slayer, Seasons of the Abyss, Rain in Blood. You know, it's so good. Angel of Death. I've talked about these before. So good as songs. So many good riffs and breakdowns for both of them. They're insanely good. Insanely good. Highly influential in my playing. Like I've talked about, thrash metal was the biggest influence on me when I was first learning guitar. So that's kind of the foundation for me in terms of guitar playing, and I just kind of blossomed from there. But thrash metal was at ground level. That's where I started. That's where I learned everything. So, recap, rewind, whoop, Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, John Petrucci of Dream Theater, James Hetfield of Metallica, Scott Ian of Anthrax, Kerry King of Slayer, and Yngwie Malmsteen. 6 highly influential guitar players in my life, maybe yours. So if any of these guys influenced your guitar playing or your musical taste at all in any of the bands they've been in, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Do you agree with some of these guys? Do you not agree? I mean, let me know. You guys have been very interactive down in the comments, so definitely let me know. I try to reply to you guys and have conversations with you guys, so just let me know. This is not a top list ranking. This is not my top 6 influential guitar players or anything. This is just 6 of the most influential guitar players in my life. So don't get that construed. Anyway, thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.